Hello and welcome to another episode of Cards Unbarred. My name's Ryan, and in this video I'm going to teach you the 3 to 5 player trick-taking game, Best in Neapolitan, designed by Marco Young. The components in Best in Neapolitan consists of 37 playing cards, numbered 1 to 11 in 3 suits, chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry, as well as 4 pass cards. The game also comes with 5 loyalty cards, which are used for player colors, as well as 5 player tokens that are used for the score track, 3 flavor rank discs used to track the hierarchy of the suits throughout trick play, 1 score track, 11 variant cards, and lastly 2 sets of alternative cards, 2 cards for the scoring track, and 4 cards for the flavor rank discs. When setting up the deck, it will change based on player count. In a 5-player game, you will use all 37 cards, numbered 1 to 11 in the 3 suits and the 4 pass cards. In a 4-player game, you will remove the 11 and 10 from all 3 suits, as well as 1 pass card. And in a 3-player game, you will remove the 11, 10, 9, and 8 from all 3 suits, as well as 2 pass cards. In this video, we'll be setting up for a 4-player game, so we will use 1 through 9 in the 3 suits, and 3 pass cards. The rest of the components will be explained during setup and/or the variant section at the end of the video. Another thing to mention, all the components you see in this video are prototype components and are subject to change. Please go to the Kickstarter or Board Game Geek page for any updates. To set up the game, first prepare the 3 flavor rank discs. You will do this by shuffling them together and placing them in a random stack, known as the flavor stack. Now, throughout the video, it may be difficult to see the flavor stack if I leave it that way, so for demonstration purposes, I am going to lay it flat on the table like this, where the token at the top of your screen is going to be the strongest and the one at the bottom is the weakest. But when you're playing, you can leave it as a stack on top of each other like that. But again, I will leave it like this for making it easier to see throughout the video where the flavors rank. Next, prepare the score track, player tokens, and loyalty cards. First, place the score track next to the flavor stack, and then each player should select a player color and take the player token and loyalty card matching that color. The loyalty card goes in front of you, and the player token will go on the score track. Note there are different starting spaces based on your player count, and since in this video we're doing a 4-player game, we will put all player tokens on the starting space for 4 players. Any player tokens and loyalty cards not selected can be returned back to the box as they will not be used in this game. Next, you will prepare and deal the playing cards, which you should have already set up the playing card deck to be 1 to 9 in 3 suits and 3 pass cards in a 4-player game. So you will shuffle that deck and deal out 7 cards to each player. There will be 2 cards left undealt. These will go face up above the score track. Players may look at their hand that was dealt to them, but make sure to keep it hidden from all other players. And lastly, determine the lead player. The last player to eat ice cream will be the lead player. If unsure, decide randomly. Best of Neapolitan is a must-follow trick-taking game. What that means is the lead player can play any card from their hand, and every other player must play a card that matches that suit if possible. The winner of the trick can be determined in a few different ways in this game, and your objective is to take a certain number of tricks based on player count. In a 4-player game, your goal is to take either 0 or 2 tricks. Anything in between will result in scoring 0 points for the round. So let's have the lead player look at their hand and choose to play any one card. And it looks like they have strawberry and chocolate. They will go with strawberry, and they're playing the 9, which is pretty much going to win the trick. Now going around the rest of the table, if this player had a strawberry card in their hand, they must play it. In this case, they don't, so they can actually play any card they want. There are these pass cards, which I'll go over here shortly, but for now, they are going to play the 8 chocolate. And continuing clockwise, this player has 2 strawberry cards in the pass card. They will choose to play this 5 strawberry. And lastly, they have 2 strawberry cards, the 3 or the 6. They'll play the 6. Now, when you look into the trick to resolve it, you first need to see, did everyone play the same suit? If they did, then you just go to the highest number. In that case, they would win. But in this situation, we actually have 2 suits in the trick. So we first have to check the suit hierarchy. The card or the suit that is the higher on the flavor stack is going to be stronger. In this case, strawberry is stronger than chocolate and vanilla. So you now need to look between the strongest flavor who played the highest number. So this 9 of strawberry is going to be the strongest card in the trick, and we'll take all of the cards in a face down stack and put them in front of them to show they've taken 1 trick. Now, additionally, the suit that won the trick will drop down to the bottom of the stack. So it's now the weakest flavor in that hierarchy. And the winner will now lead the next trick. So again, looking at their hand, they only have chocolate and strawberry. Knowing that strawberry is now at the bottom, maybe they'll play this 8. Because this person didn't play a strawberry before, so they know whatever they play will actually go above their strawberry suit. However, this player does have a pass card. So again, they don't have strawberry, they can play anything they want, but you can always play a pass card at any time. And pass cards will mean you're going to lose the trick. So in this case, this player is actually still winning right now. So continuing around the table, they've got this 1 strawberry, so they'll play that. And then over here we have a 3 strawberry. So this person, much to their dismay, ended up winning the trick, which they assumed they probably weren't. But when they win another trick, they are going to stack it next to their other one, so you can easily tell you've won 2 tricks. You can also put them separate however you want. Just make sure it's very noticeable to all players how many tricks anyone has won at any time. Now, because strawberries are at the bottom of the stack, it can't go any lower. It just stays at the bottom, so the hierarchy doesn't change. But they would lead the next trick, and knowing that didn't work out so well for them, they're going to continue strawberry, but they're going to go with a lower number this time. And this player does not have a pass card, so they are going to have to play a suit that is higher. So let's say they go with the 7 vanilla. And it doesn't matter what number, because again, it's the suit that you're checking. So this card's going to win no matter what, even if somebody else played a higher strawberry than them. But again, coming over here, we know vanilla's in the middle and chocolate's in the top. So whatever they play would win. Well, I guess they could play the 6. They'd lose, so maybe they'll do that. And lastly, over here, they will go with the 4 of vanilla. So again, 2 different suits in the trick, 2 or more. So we go to the hierarchy. Strawberry is lower than vanilla. So vanilla is winning. Highest number is the 7. We then take those cards. We move the winning suit to the bottom of the stack. And that player leads the trick. And let's just do one more trick here. We'll have them play the chocolate 3. Again, they've got a 9 and a 6, but they can also play this pass card because these can be played at any time. So they'll do that, which means they'll lose the trick, and they will also play their pass card. And lastly, over here, this player doesn't want any more tricks since the objective is 0 or 2 tricks. So they're going to have to play that 1 underneath. Chocolate drops to the bottom. The player who played the highest would win. Now, in a situation where a player leads a pass card, then the person next in the trick would determine what lead suit is. So, for example, if they had led a pass card, then they would determine whatever they play would be the lead suit for the rest of the players in the trick. But again, tricks would play out like this until everyone has played their entire hand, and then you would go to scoring. Each player will check the number of tricks they've won, and depending on your player count, if you hit the required number of tricks, you will score either 1 or 2 points. As you can see on the chart below, any player in a 4-player game who took 2 tricks will score 1 point, and if you took 0 tricks, you will score 2 points. If you took any other number of tricks, you will score 0 points. So in this situation, purple will score 0, banana and mint will each score 1, and caramel will score 2. Each player will move their token on the scoring track accordingly. 2 points here, and 1 point for each of them. After players have scored, you would shuffle up the deck, making sure to put the 2 cards that were undealt back into the deck, dealing each player 7 cards, putting the 2 undealt cards face up near the score track again, and play out another hand. You continue to do this until one player reaches the top of the scoring track, in which case they win the game. If multiple players reach the scoring track in the same round, you need to go through the tricks that you've won and look at all of the number of cards matching the strongest suit in the hierarchy at the end of the round. The player that has the most in the strongest suit would win. If it's still tied, you go to the second strongest suit. If still tied, you'd go to the weakest suit. So to show that on a little bit more visual example, if caramel and mint had both finished in a round, maybe they both took 2 tricks. Need to put a 4th card in there. Put 4 cards here and 4 cards here. They each took 2 tricks. They were on here. They scored a point each. Going through all of their cards, you would count up first the number of strawberry cards you have. In this case, they have 6. and Mint has 1, 2. So Caramel would win the game in the first tiebreaker. If they both had the same number, so maybe it was 4 and 4, then you go to Vanilla. You'd count the number of vanilla cards a player has, and then break the tie. If you still tie, go to Chocolate. If you do all 3 flavors, then it's share of victory between those 2 players. There are a few variants that you can play with after you've played the standard game a few times. All players should agree on which variants that you select before the game, but I will explain the rules on how those variants work now. And we'll start with the first variant, I Scream, You Scream. The first thing you'll do is remove any of the regular pass cards that were in your deck when you prepared it and return them back to the box, as they will not be used when using this variant. You will then find the 6 variant pass cards, which all have the different orientations of the 3 flavors with an ice cream cone underneath it. And again, depending on your player count, you'll shuffle this stack and put the appropriate number of pass cards into the regular deck. So you now will have the same number of pass cards that you had based on your normal player count. It'll just be these variant cards, and you won't know which of the 6 are in there. The other ones that were not selected, you will keep off to the side near the score track, because these will come back into the game next round. Because at the end of the round, after you score, you'll go through the deck, you'll find wherever the pass cards were in people's score piles, and you will re-put them in those 6 cards, shuffle those again, and have 3 new ones. So every round, you will have 3 new pass cards. You won't know exactly which ones will be in the deck, to have sort of a little bit of variability and suspense when playing. Now, how do these pass cards work? Well, they work like the regular pass cards in that you can play them at any time. So if somebody leads a suit that you have, but you also have a pass card, you can choose to play the pass card instead of lead suit. But when you play it, you need to check the orientation of the flavor stack. If the orientation matches the orientation on the card you played, you are actually going to win the trick instead of lose it. It is the strongest card no matter what. In this case, we need vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate, which we don't have, so this card is losing the trick. But if the orientation looked like that, this player is now going to win the trick instead. No matter what other players play, this is going to win. After that player collects the cards, they will then swap the strength of the hierarchy on the track. So whatever was weakest becomes strongest, and whatever was strongest becomes weakest. The thing in the middle stays where it is. And the rest of the game plays exactly the same if you're only using this variant with those pass cards. The next variant is the cherry on top. When playing with this variant, give each player a cherry on top card, making sure the side with more ice cream is visible and face up. Once per game at the start of any round, after you've been dealt your hand but before the first trick is played, any player may flip their cherry on top card face down and announce "no ice cream for me." What this is doing is saying that player will take 0 tricks in the round. And if they do, normally you get 2 points. But in this case, you will score 3 points. You get 1 extra point, which in this game is a lot of points. And any player, any number of players can make this declaration. So if 2 people do it in the round, great. There is no set turn order for when you declare it, but if players want to, you can do it in clockwise order from the person who would be the lead player. Now again, any player that does succeed at it will score 3 points. However, if you fail at it by taking any number of tricks, you will lose 1 point instead. It is possible to have -1 point. Even if you do it like on the first hand and you have 0 points, or any hand, you can go down to -1. Players will also not gain any points if they manage to take the number of required tricks in the round. So in a 4-player game, when you need to take 2 tricks, if a player says "no ice cream for me" and takes 2 tricks in the round, they will score 0 points because they said this round they were going to take 0 tricks, not anything else. The next variant is the more scoops variant. When playing with this, it will make the game longer in case players want to play more hands, since sometimes it can go very quickly with the short amount of points. What you'll do is you'll give each player their player card face down with the unstamped side showing. Whenever a player reaches the score track, normally they would win the game, but instead they flip their player card over and go back to the starting space on the score track. Then when they reach the final space a second time, they will win the game. All other players stay where they are. So in this case, if it looked like this, and the purple player reached the end when they flip their card over, they go back to the starting space, but the other players remain in their spot. So it is simply just the first player to score twice over would win the game instead. And the last variant is the secret ingredients. When you deal out the cards and there are 2 undealt, they normally go face up above the score track, but with the secret ingredient variant, those 2 cards go face down instead. This keeps a little bit of secret and mystery through trick play, as there are 2 cards that are unknown throughout the hand. The next 2 set of cards aren't variants, they're actually just alternate components to use depending on how you want to play the game. The first one is going to be replacing the flavor stack. If you don't want to use the tokens, maybe you're traveling and you just want a deck of cards and you don't want to have any chunky bits, or maybe you struggle with actually stacking the flavor discs, this is an alternate way to track the hierarchy of the suits. This little cup at the bottom is just an easy way to know on the table, no matter the orientation, players will easily tell which suit is the weakest and which suit is the strongest. So strawberry would be at the top with chocolate at the bottom, and when a flavor wins, you can just slide the cards and move them around accordingly. And then the other alternate cards are the score track. If you want to just have these 2 little cards with you, you'll take the ice cream truck card and you'll overlap it based on the little dots here in the corner on your player counts. So if we're playing a 4-player game, you move it up until it covers that space. This will now, when you put the player tokens at the bottom on that start space, it's going to equal the same number of spaces as the normal score track does. If you're playing a 5-player game, you cover up there, and a 3-player game, you cover it up there. So again, these work exactly the same as the base game components. It's just an alternate way if you want to travel a little bit later with just cards. Otherwise, that's everything you need to know to play Best in Neapolitan. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Thanks so much for watching.